We saw numerous examples of numbers moving, numbers being flipped and switched. As you realize, the Antrim County is where the 6,000 vote glitch occurred. An error rate is permissible for 1 out of 125,000 ballots. And if you look at just what happened in Antrim County, the error rate was 8.3, so it puts it about 750 times the allowable limit, and according to the regulations, that should have disqualified.
We have multiple ballots with the very same signature.
I don't know if challenge is the right word, but until we get it,
challenging.
We'll go ahead and count the ballots.
Right, we need you to move forward.
But we will separate out and count those and add those in. But there's going to be an asterisk saying these ballots have the same thing.
And again, we know that you have a concern with this precinct, and as soon when you get done with the audit part of it, not an investigation, not counting.
We have 7,769 votes for Biden, and then for Trump, 4,509 votes. But that was wrong. And here are the actual results. Trump, significant margin over Joe Biden. First, they said, I believe this was a human error. Then they said it was a mechanical error. Then they said it was a human error. What happened?
Well, what happened was the machine is designed to generate huge numbers of errors when you run ballots through the tabulator. And then those ballots, those errors, go to adjudication where someone sitting somewhere, we don't know where, can simply click on one button and bulk adjudicate thousands of ballots at once. So in this case, they were able to adjudicate, 12,000 ballots roughly, with one click of the button.
Okay, and that's not good. Adjudication and the rate of ballots that were being adjudicated, i.e., it goes through the machine, something doesn't look right, a human being has to take it and do something with it. What was the rate of ballots that needed to be adjudicated?
68% of the ballots run through the machine had to be adjudicated.
And tell us just how crazy off the wall that number is or isn't. It seems kind of high.
It's very high because the federal allowable rate is 1 in 125,000 ballots. That's the error rate. And this program is designed specifically to generate these types of errors. And that's how they move votes from one candidate to another. They put them in these folders for mass adjudication, and they are shipped somewhere. In our case, specifically, as you see in the report, we can't tell that right now because on November 4th, all of those system files, adjudication files, and internet files were deleted. So that's pretty significant.
This is what we found. Another thing that we found very disturbing. And this, there's an adjudication process that probably, I know you're probably familiar with, Pete, but if there is a mark that is questionable, the ballot should be sent to an adjudication holding area to be resolved manually by a 3-person team. Mm-hmm. Well, that's the way the system normally works. However, what the batch logs say is that all of the ballots were sent to adjudication. Virtually all of the ballots. Now, adjudication only applies to mail-in ballots, so virtually all of the mail-in ballots, which was approximately 148,000, were forced into adjudication unnecessarily, and that's where they incur that extra risk of manipulation. What we're concerned about is that the electronic manipulation that can take place in adjudication, not necessarily the manual adjudication, even though that is typically biased.
Wow. 140, again, let me emphasize this and get it correct. 148,000 were forced to adjudication.
Right. And the elections director actually admitted this on November 5th at a 5 p.m. press conference. And he said that at that time of 113,000 ballots, 106,000 had gone to adjudication. And we were saying, what? How can that possibly be? And now we know it's because the logs were set to force them into adjudication.
Because if we don't have the counts, then we can't move forward. And we understand that there is a concern with this precinct, but this is not a time for you to be investigating right now.
Did you find
This is a
something
time
else?
for you. No. So you need to move forward with the audit so we can get the numbers, so we can see how many ballots are here.
But wait, okay, so when we're done with the audit, there is still the opportunity to challenge the fact that we have multiple ballots with the very same signature.
I don't know if challenge is the right word, but until we
We're
get
challenging.
We'll go
whether
ahead and
that's
count the
a
ballots.
legitimate
right,
ballot.
we need you to move forward.
But we will separate out and count those and add those
Okay.
in. But there's going to be an asterisk saying these ballots have the same thing.
And again, we know that you have a concern with this precinct, and as soon when you get done with the audit part of it, not an investigation, not counting, that's not your role right now, this very minute. So what I need you to do is complete the audit so we can get a number of how many ballots were in this can when you started counting, and we can move forward from there. Okay, so what I need for you guys to do right now is to finish the
We'll have a
audit
number.
process.
We'll have a number.
We'll have a number. We can't-
Separate them out.
Whether valid or invalid, we'll have
That
a
is,
number.
that is not the process right now. The process right now is for you to put them in the piles where they belong, and for the presidential vote, and count the presidential votes. We understand that there is possibly an issue with this precinct. We understand that. But what I need for you to do right now is to finish the presidential race audit, not separate them out, and then we'll move forward from there. Okay? But I need you to continue the process right now, please.
You realize that the former state representative has had issues with counting ballots and making it valid.
I understand, but until we get a count, we need that piece done first. We need the audit piece done first because that's why we're here. And we will look at the numbers. Okay? And I understand that there may be an issue. And I understand your concerns. So if we can complete the audit piece right now,
Okay.
then we can move forward, okay? Thank you.
With those key elements that showed differences in the data runs and the tapes, and I believe I've provided that to you as well. And then a declaration by Robert Marsh, the Star Township supervisor, a couple of the excerpts. When he said, upon examining the tape at the close of the polls, I could see that President Trump had clearly won the presidential race in Star Township. He said, I believe the numbers were 462 for President Trump, with Joe Biden receiving 161 votes. Normally, when a candidate has such a large lead, it's safe to assume who the winner would be. Early the next morning, my wife received a phone call from a friend asking what happened to Antrim County going blue, meaning Democrat. At 7:36 that morning, I was texting our stats representative, Tristan Cole, to find out if those were the actual results. At the time, Tristan advised me that the numbers were not right, that Antrim County was reporting 462 votes had been credited to Joe Biden, and President Trump had only received 10 votes. So we saw numerous examples of numbers moving, numbers being flipped and switched. As you realize, the Antrim County is where the 6,000 vote glitch occurred. And if you look at the numerous references in the guidelines for elections in the Help America Vote Act, the Federal Election Commission Voting System Standards, and the Federal Information Security Modernization Act, an error rate is permissible for 1 out of 125,000 ballots. And if you look at just what happened in Antrim County, the error rate was 8.3. So it puts it about 750 times the allowable limit. And according to the regulations, that should have disqualified. They went later and changed that from a glitch to a clerical error, which, they kind of changed up the reporting on that a little bit.